Good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Hercules. I am the CEO and founder of Hercules Innovative Technology Solutions, HITS for short, and your host of the Forever Forward Tech Masterclass. But for those that attended last week, we kind of did a pivot and we're doing financial literacy as the focus. And so I want to thank Jay for coming back again. Last month, he presented on how you could leverage personal credit. And then it kind of trickled into how you could leverage your business credit and really just leverage your credit as a whole, as almost like your own personal bank account. So Jay, I want to thank you so very much for your time that you've spent sharing your knowledge in this space. And I know I, for one, am extremely excited to get into this. I think this is going to be a good one for the entrepreneurs that tune in. So with that, if you wouldn't mind giving an introduction, and then we could just jump into the presentation.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, everybody that's on the call or on the presentation or on the masterclass. Thanks for coming out tonight. I'm based here in Dallas, Fort Worth, originally from Northeast to LA in California. So been in Texas for a hot minute. But as far as the background is concerned, originally was in the IT and tech space, worked at Microsoft and other tech companies. Then went into the telecommunications space, healthcare, IT, things of that nature. And then went into education in 2008. Taught high school math for 6.5 years in the classroom, was a instructional coach, taught teachers for about 3 years, was a district level administrator over 7 schools, a math interventionist, adjunct professor at a university for 4 years, and then an ed tech consultant of a firm out of New York City, dealing with on an elite team for specifically Chicago public schools, and then started a tutoring company in 2017, 18, where we built a holistic approach of education tailored for students from kindergarten to PhD level in STEM subjects, test preps, English reading, writing, and foreign languages. And now we've helped out over 11,000 students, primarily of color, but we tutor everybody with a 95% success rate of students getting A's and B's in about 55 subjects across the board. And then now have an ed tech startup called Bright Match that I am building as we speak. But in regards to financial literacy, I have a background in banking and finance and credit. Used to work for Wells Fargo and other banks, and then also at the Experian Credit Agency for a couple of years as well. So glad to be here tonight to kind of get into it and make sure that you guys understand, or you ladies and gentlemen understand, kind of what you can do with business credit and even how you get it and kind of move through the motions of making it happen. So appreciate it.
I appreciate the intro. And so for those that are watching, you see why we have Jay as the guest speaker for today.
Yeah, so next slide, obviously, we go by what we already talked about. So as far as the credit is concerned, I'm a big proponent of people that talk about this space having a background in it. And not only that, but having great scores, right? So definitely have a good business credit score. And then as far as the personal side is concerned, I kind of swivel between an 830 and 840 on the personal credit side. So in order for you to have business credit, though, you have to have great personal credit. And I pretty much like to hang around good to excellent, or very good, to excellent personal credit in order for you to leverage and get into the business credit side. So on this slide, we'll basically see kind of how you move from the FICO algorithm and the Vantage Score 3.0 structure to PAYDEX. And you'll see that on the business credit side. And PAYDEX is between 0 and 100 for your business credit score. Now, with that being said, too, your high risk companies are less than 50. Your fair companies are between 50 and 79. Your good to excellent companies, as far as business credit is concerned, is from 80 to 100. So based on, your business credit is based on your payment performance, paying before the due dates, that can actually give you a great, strong performance PAYDEX score. And then on top of that, paying on time generally supports getting a strong score too with business credit. Paying late always lowers your score. So business credit seemingly operates very much so differently than personal credit scores operate. It doesn't work the same when you're, on personal credit. You can carry balances on a 90-10 ratio that makes proper sense. But on business, you need to either pay your stuff on time or pay them ahead of time in order for you to leverage the best credit scores possible from the business side of the house. And of course, you always need to go by what you and the vendor agree to do. Go ahead and go next. All right. So on this side, you have, and the credit score too, by the way, on the agency side of the house, from your Experian to your Equifax, they offer like an IntelliScore. And Experian offers an IntelliScore Plus, is what they call it. And so on your high risk, of course, again, on this one, it should have been 1 through 50, but it's okay. On your high risk side of the house, you become, or I'm sorry, for high risk on the lower end, you do have 1 to 10. So if your credit score is along those lines, you're probably not going to get offered any credit, be able to get great business credit cards, get any type of loans, get any type of, alternate structured and alternative finance or creative finance deals based on your business credit score. Moderate risk is about 51 to 75. And then you have kind of elevated risk as well, right? So doing these kind of things with the different score models will allow you to get, to know where you stand, basically, or where you fall. So really looking at this in detail, right? What do they evaluate at Experian with the IntelliScore? Well, you have payment history, you have your collections, if you have any collections, your business age, how long have you been transacting, public records, and the UCC. For those of you that don't know what the UCC codes are, if you get an EIDL loan or a loan from the SBA, it's not a bad thing and it's not necessarily a good thing. It's like right in the middle, to where you just have this uniform code filing that says, hey, I owe money to the SBA or to the government, right? And in order to get that UCC filing and take it off, you have to pay that loan off, or it has to basically go away or be paid off or be done, right? But the thing is, if you have a UCC filing, and those of you who have had SBA loans before, that UCC filing rating does not just automatically fall off when you get done paying the loan. You got to call the SBA and tell them, hey, I need you to release my UCC filing so my credit can go back up, because it's still on the report. So you have to call them, and you need to call the agency too and tell them that you paid off your loan, and you need to make sure that your credit score goes back up and that the report reflects it. So your score will be fine.
So Jay, let me ask this, because with personal credit, if you have like a negative marking, it stays on for like 7 years. Is that equivalent to this, or is it a longer period of time?
No. So on these, there's no certified timeline that items are supposed to be designated on top of your credit report, like on a personal side of the house. It's more because it's fluid. Business credit is very fluid. So if you have, 5 to 6 accounts, maybe 2 accounts, you have a business car loan, you have business equipment loan, you have a business regular transactional loan, you have like all these different things that you can have on the business side of the house. They come and they go, right? They bob and they weave, they ebb and they flow, right? So you can have a situation where you have a equipment loan for a certain period of time, and then you don't need it anymore, right? It's part of your history, but it's not required to stay on your history per se. Because oftentimes there's accounts that don't even pop up on your business credit report. You have to call them and be like, hey, I need, you can call DNB and be like, hey, I need, and that's done in Bradstreet. For those that don't know, you call them and say, hey, I need you to add X, Y, and Z accounts on my credit report. So it does report, right? So that's why that's different between your personal and your business credit as far as what stays, what doesn't stay, and the longevity. In addition to the UCCs, your industry risk, how risky is your industry, right? You're not going to have a better credit score being in probably the hair industry, or even sometimes depending on what people do in the credit industry could be risky, right? And in addition to that, those that are in just kind of more volatile type of industries could affect your business credit scores as well, because they may not deem those industries to be, super profitable, or, there could be a timeline where they may be risky, where they don't make any revenue, or they just fall out, or they could fall into bankruptcy, right? So you have to look at that as well. What are your outstanding balances, your trade accounts, and the company size, right? On Equifax, they have a product called One Score for commercial, and that ranges from 300 to 660, and it predicts basically the likelihood of severe financial delinquency. So they're going to be able to tell whether or not you about to close up shop, or if you're actually, going to stay in business for an X period of time on average through history and data. The business delinquency score ranges from 101 to 662, and it assesses the risk of severe delinquency or charge-offs to non-financial credit grantors, right? Another product is Commercial Insight Delinquency Score. That ranges from 397 to 695, and that targets the risk of severe delinquency with financial creditors. And then lastly, on the failure score, that ranges from 1,000 to 1,604, and the higher the score, the better, and that predicts the likelihood of either you're closing your business, or if you have bankruptcy in the next 12 months. And to be honest with you, normally those are going to be looked at as more liquid type of scenarios, where they're looking at your statements, cash in the bank, liquidity, whether or not you're paying your debts off of your business credit cards and things like that in your trade accounts. So you have to really look at those as well.
So Jay, so a distinction here, right? Because what you mentioned from a personal credit side of the house, you could get up to a high credit score up to like 800. But for the business credit, it only goes up to like 695, and then anything that's over that in the thousands, that is deemed as like a failure, correct?
Yeah, well, there's different type of models. So based on what model you fall in and which agency you're with will determine where your score flex is. Now, most people will look in the Paydex score, right, from 1 to 100. They've gotten their registration, with Dun & Bradstreet, and Dun & Bradstreet goes out to different vendors and different agencies as a data collector. And they utilize that information and data to then push out what their score would be on Paydex for 1 through 100. But internally on the agency side, they have their own ranges that they have based on what product you're with. All right, go ahead and go next. All right, so one thing you haven't probably heard of, those that are on the call, and I actually found this out. I used to work for Wells Fargo Bank, and Wells Fargo Bank reports to the SBFE, which is a small business financial exchange. And I had my Wells Fargo business credit card for a very long time. And I'm like, how come I don't ever see it on my business credit report? And I'm like, I thought y'all reported to those bureaus. Well, I come to find out, Wells Fargo business cards don't ever report to the business credit scores. They report to the SBFEs. So it's a hidden bureau basically for businesses that nobody talks about, and Wells Fargo heavily uses it for businesses and nearly every major bank uses it technically, right? But it serves as a data exchange that member banks use during underwriting. And those commercial bureaus incorporate the SBFE data into their decision for underwriting and business credit products that they are offering at the bank side. The banks that typically use the SBFE are Chase, Wells Fargo, Citi, Bank of America, PNC, US Bank, Fifth Third, which I believe they just either Fifth Third, I think either just bought another bank or they merged with somebody recently in the news. But there's many regional banks that do use the SBFE. Wells Fargo just happens to be one of the bigger ones as well.
That's a very interesting fact.
Yeah, for sure. So it's pretty cool. All right, next. All right, so where can you retrieve your business credit scores? Definitely go to Dun & Bradstreet, and you'll have a number a DMB number that you'll retrieve once you register with DMB, and they retrieve your Paydex score, delinquency score, your failure score, and viability rating. And it showed the Dun & Bradstreet report shows your trade references, your payment history, any UCC filings that you may have from the government, and then the company information as well. So just make sure that when you call Dun & Bradstreet, y'all, or you come in contact with an agent through chat, that you are very sure of all the data in your business that can go on that report. Be as accurate as you can, so all your information comes across correctly, so they can accurately report everything that needs to be done on your report. All right, go ahead and go next. On the Experian business side of the house, it shows your IntelliScore Plus, your payment history, any collections, public records, credit inquiries, and trade lines. On the Equifax business side of the house, they show business credit risk, your delinquency risk, your financial stability, and also your payment history. And then when you retrieve your business credit scores, you also can go through NAV. It's a super easy dashboard for entrepreneurs. And NAV actually, if you pay a subscription or a monthly fee for NAV, y'all, they actually, the amount you pay, which is like whatever, $23.99 or $25.99 or whatever it may be for what you want in their product, they actually utilize that to build your business credit too. So the amount you pay in the NAV is also a credit builder. So just kind of be mindful of that. If you don't have any business credit, you can have NAV pull your business credit scores, and it can also pull your personal credit score, and it can also give you business credit. And it provides access to your Experian business, your Dun & Bradstreet, your Equifax, your business funding recommendations, and also personal and business monitoring. And Tilful, if you have Tilful, it's good for startups. They provide business credit monitoring, business scores, and funding marketplaces as well. All right, now, so personal credit drives business credit and business funding. I'm gonna tell you this again, y'all. If y'all don't handle, you don't handle personal credit that's good or that's very good, you're not gonna handle business credit. I don't care what nobody tells you. I don't care what gurus you done heard out there, people that you done heard about on social media, and they be telling you can do stuff without doing certain steps and doing certain things. It's not true. You have to have great business credit to even drive being able to do business credit. Okay. And you don't get strong business credit without having that strong personal credit first. And what lenders actually do is they pull your personal credit and your FICO and your bank card scores. Those are the things that they push out to be like, hey, this person is qualified to get a loan from the bank, or get a business loan, or get a line of credit, or get a business credit card, or whatever the case may be. They're going to look at all that stuff before they assign you some money, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to assess that risk before even looking at your business. And oftentimes, if you don't have any credit, you're just starting off, any business credit, you're just starting off, then you're going to require a PG, a personal guarantor, for most of your early stage startups, early stage companies, and for early stage funding, as most of those approvals are 80 to 90% personal credit driven in early cases. You're not just about to pull up the BMW and get a business car loan and be like, I haven't had my business for like more than 2 months and expect to roll out that car dealership with that car. No, doesn't happen that way. Now, BMW though and Ford are, the kind of dealerships so that you can actually roll up in there and say, hey, I want a BMW X6, right? Which is one of the cars that you're able to qualify to get and write off through the IRS and taxes. You can take that car based on weight, and you can have different types of depreciation and write-off structures for your business card, just like you can with any other business deductions. You can do that. But my point is, when you go to the dealership, as long as if your business has been operating for a couple of years and you have some strong history, you can actually go into that dealership. They'll get your business, they'll pull your business credit versus your PG, and you can walk out the door with the keys to that car. Like, I think when I did mine, it was within like 2 hours.
Oh, nice.
And I was pretty much out of there. The only thing that kind of was a hang up in the beginning was the business insurance, where you had to I had to separate the personal insurance from State Farm to the business insurance from State Farm, and make sure that they could assign it at that time. So I had to call my agent, and then my agent had to get on the phone and had to do some stuff. And then by the time I got done, they recycled everything, and they were like, all right, cool, everything is good on the insurance side. And I walked out with the keys, and I was done. And I did that in Houston and drove back to Dallas with the car.
So,
So
so Jay, let
yeah,
me ask you this, because in the last masterclass, you talked about a program that you offered, the authorized user program.
yeah.
So let's say that it's someone who needs a little bit more help on their personal side. Can they
Mhm.
leverage your program to build up their personal credit score to then um, be qualified to have a higher qualification? And like what time, how long will that take if they're
Mhm.
not at, like, if they don't have the best credit?
So with the business side, I don't utilize the AU program for the business side because it's more tricky, and you can't just be on somebody's business like that,
Right.
right? You can't leverage somebody's business and have a personal name on a business account unless you are part of that business, right? You can become an authorized user in a business that's yours, and you got
Mm-hmm.
like employees, and those employees can become authorized users to help build business credit in that manner. But I couldn't take somebody from my company and place them on my business credit card to build their business credit as an AU because it doesn't work.
Got it.
And in addition to that, one other thing that people need to realize is that if you have an Amex card, and your Amex card is not reporting the credit limits that are
Mm.
on that, because oftentimes Amex cards don't have credit limits, right? Some of them are charge cards, some of them are actual true credit cards, but you have some of them you can have a credit limit. I got business credit cards that have a credit limit from Amex. I got ones that don't. I'm like the platinum ones, they don't. If you have a black card, it doesn't, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can't leverage on your personal credit to have a consumer be an AU on an Amex card because it does not report the credit limit on the report. They only report if you're delinquent, or if you miss payments, or if you just do stuff you don't have no business doing, they report that. But they're not
Got
going
it.
to report your credit limit to make AUs make more sense with trying to get business credit. Now, if you're trying to get business credit and you need your personal side to increase up, the AU makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not trying to, if you're already in business and you have business credit or trying to get it, but you're in business, you can't use an AU on somebody else's business to get it done. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Makes
And then I
sense.
apologize, Jay. One of the things I forgot to mention at the top of the show is that for those who
Mhm.
are attending, we welcome questions. I don't know if you wanted to take the questions after going to the presentation or if you want to take them in real time.
Um, probably after,
Okay.
because I can try to get done with the presentation.
That sounds good.
Okay, cool. Go ahead. All right. So, what really makes up your business credit profile, right? About 8 things: payment history, credit utilization, company age, time in business, revenue, bank account history. So, do you have any insufficient funds transactions that have occurred? You have cash flow. You got monthly deposits coming in or average daily balances that are great. It's part of your bank account history. Trade references, Uline, Granger, Floor and Decor, Quill, those kind of things are vendor accounts, and those are trade references. Now, again, you're gonna hear gurus and other people talk about business credit, gonna be like, oh, you can build good business credit by going to get a Quill account, going to get the Foreign Decor card, going to get the Home Depot card, going to get the Lowe's card, going to get the Sam's Club. Okay. You can do vendors, but it's gonna take you longer because vendors tend to have net 30, net 60 accounts. That's not the best route to having great business credit. Having a great business credit, quickest route to go is going to be building your personal credit first and then be able to migrate over, or to get to get business credit. What do you call it? Secured cards and lines first before you move to an unsecured line. An unsecured line, you can borrow against your business credit line up to however much you need. You pay that, and as you pay that back, you can have access again to whatever that max credit limit is for your business line of credit. So I built my business credit, y'all, and my personal credit from scratch, from the ground up. And I didn't do the shortcuts. I just paid my stuff the way it was supposed to be paid it ahead of time, built my business credit by way of applying the business credit cards first. And my first credit card was a Wells Fargo card. Then I went from Wells Fargo to Chase Business. Then I went from Chase Business to Citi Business. Then I went from Citi Business to Amex. Then I went from Amex to Navy Federal. You know what I'm saying? Like, then I went from that. Like, so you keep tearing up and building your credit on either side, on either lane, as you go along in your history. And then your public records are also part of that profile. So bankruptcies, judgments, tax liens, and UCC filings also are part of that. All right. So what do banks and lenders look for, right? Underwriting criteria, credit profile, strength, 720 and up for strong approvals, and 750 and up, really, which is ideal for high limits. I wouldn't suggest, if you're trying to get a big bank loan or get a great bank loan, that you don't have anything less than a 750. I mean, you can get some things at a 720, but I wouldn't suggest you want to get your top tier things. You have to have a 750 plus on your personal credit to then get access to the business credit that you need and want. Your utilization should be less than 10% per card, if possible, right? Now, the industry standard at the hard cutoff is a 30% on your personal credit. But you shouldn't, to be honest, to access an 800 or to unlock an 800 credit score, yo, between 3 and 8%. You should have utilization of 3 and 8%, period. No double digits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if you have less than a certain amount of percentage of credit, then you're double, and you end up in the double digits, it's not going to be good for you. You should be in single digits for like, let's say you have 200,000, 100,000 in accessible personal credit. Then you should have less than 10% utilization. If you want more than 100,000, then you need to have between 3 and 8%. If you want more than that, it's more than 200,000, you might want to have between 1 and 3%. So the percentage utilization goes down, the higher amount that you want. Mm-hmm. Right? Remember that though, 42% of a credit card on the personal side is maxed out risk. You don't become maxed out at 100% utilization. You become maxed out at 42%. Just remember that. Credit depth, 60 on your personal credit should have 6 to 10 trade lines, 3 to 5 active revolving accounts, and your payment history, 0 late payments, no collections or charge-offs. 1 30-day late can drop your score to 50 to 100 points. You don't want that. Income and cash flow, personal income, business revenue, bank deposits, statement loans are getting more and more popular, meaning that if you already have cash flow in your company or your business, you can have a bank come through and be like, hey, if you want a loan, you can utilize a statement loan to get approved. And that means that they're going to go into your bank account statements for your business and see how your cash flow has been going month to month, year to year. And if it looks strong, they'll give you some money, right? So statement loans are getting more popular, but they are a little bit difficult if you're starting out your brand new business, 1 to 3 years, or if you don't have strong cash flow up front, you're still in startup phase. Bank relationships, existing accounts equals higher approvals, and credit unions have more flexibility. So if you do decide to get a loan or get a business bank account and have business credit run through your profile, then you need to be looking at credit unions too. They're the most forgiving when it comes to, and the most relationship based when it comes to getting credit in general. Time in business, 0 to 6 months, personal guarantee. 6 to 24 months, they may do a personal guarantee. They may not do a personal guarantee, or they might do a little bit of both. You can get the loan on your business, but if that business defaults, then you about to be paying from your personal expenses and your personal assets, right? So they may do a hybrid. And in 2 to 3 years, they may not even need your personal guarantee no more. You just go ahead and you got off the training wheels, you can start riding a bike, right? You just go on ahead and knock out the personal credit through your longevity in business. So favorable and unfavorable credit profile. What really gets high limits, y'all? Again, 750 and up. 3 to 5 credit card primary as your primary credit builder in your profile. Low utilization between 5 and 8%. Between 1 and 8%. No negatives, 5 years average. Thick file, 7 to 12 accounts. You have some very strong income and bank deposits. So it'll be a very favorable type of situation to get you some high limits. All right. Unfavorable, which means you might get declined, is going to be a thin file from 0 to 3 accounts, high utilization, recent inquiries seeking credit, late payments and collections, low limits, and no credit mix. Now, I'll say this. I don't favor people having low credit limit cards. And I'm talking about on the personal side or the business side. It's not necessarily to be funny to those who that's what they got. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to get what you got to get. But low limit cards don't really do you any good. And I'm talking about anything less than 5,000, really anything less than 10,000 is not doing much for your credit report. You need to have something that's stronger than 10 grand, right? 20,000, 25,000, 35,000, 60,000, 85,000, 100,000, unlimited, right? You need to have things like that. You build up to it, which is fine. It takes time, right? Like I said, it took me, man, like what? Probably 6 years, maybe 5 years to even get to, to have between personal and business credit, like 250, 300,000, right? Then I was able to get like 650,000 between them both, right? So don't let the time deter you from trying to build what you need, right? You need to have enough leverage and enough credit so you're able to move in certain places if you're moving in that direction of investment, right? If you know you need to, if you know that you're in the real estate space and you're trying to invest in real estate and you need to buy a property or you need to buy, an Airbnb, whatever you decide to do and invest, you may not have the personal cash flow to do it. So if you have a business, or LLC that you're running for real estate and you have a credit card that's 100 grand, you might need 35,000 down on that duplex or whatever it may be to get that investment property. Well, go ahead and use your credit card or your line of credit. Now you have it to go ahead and leverage that cash flow off of that. And it hasn't cost you nothing out of your pocket to do it, right? You're using somebody else's money, or they always call OPM. You're using somebody else's money to do the investment, right? You'll pay that back through once you close on that property and you flip it or whatever the case may be. You get the gains and the profit from that property. You pay what you use as a down payment, for that property, and then you move on and do another one. Or you take the equity out from the property that you just got, and you go do another investment for another property based on the equity and the credit that you use from the first or the second one. Like, it becomes a snowball effect if you know how to do it properly, and you can actually become your own bank and borrow from yourself. So whether you have, and in personal side, you can borrow from your life insurance policy and be your own bank that way. You don't have to pay that back. It's tax. You don't have a tax liability if you have a whole life insurance policy. So all those kind of different things are key tricks to eventually become your own bank. Underwriting pyramid. So level 1 would be like on personal credit, y'all, FICO score, payment history, and utilization. On level 2, business foundation, you start to incorporate your LLC, build your business, build your actual business legal entities up, and then get your EIN from the IRS, have a business address. Not Lil Pookie now. You got to have your own business address, right? You have your own place that you either go to, or you have a virtual address or something. You need to have an actual business address for this to work, make sense for your business foundation. Have a business phone number, a real business phone number, or an 800 number. Again, don't be having Lil Pookie and their number on your business and they call and they be like, "Who is this?" You don't want that, right? It need to be your actual business that has actual revenue and is a real business. It's not a shell company that you're not doing nothing in. It's a real business, and you can go into all kind of different rabbit holes through holding companies and things of that nature as well. But that's a whole nother topic. Level 3 would be, I'm sorry, I forgot the other part. Website, have a website, professional email, and business bank account. Again, don't be having your professional email be Lil Pookie in the email. No, it needs to have a suffix. And what I mean by suffix, it'd be John at Amazon.com, Sarah at Microsoft.com, Clinton at IBM.com, right? So it needs to have your actual business name. Mine, J.Ville at InkEducationLLC.com or JV at the JVillebrand.com. It needs to have your business name as your domain and your suffix and your email address. You need to have a business bank account. Don't be just hoarding cash and think that the IRS ain't going to try to come get you. You need to go on ahead and open up a bank account for your LLC and make sure that you utilize that, because you can't get no bank loan and no business loan unless you have an LLC anyway. And it could be a sole proprietorship. Well, it could be a sole proprietorship, but it could also be an LLC that is taxed as an S corp, right? Or you may have a corporation. All these things are volatile and to be understood when it comes to your business, the way that you legally build your business, so to speak. And then level 3 is this business credit time. Once you've already gotten your personal credit up, ready to go, and your business foundation set, you go to business credit, right? Go ahead and get your Dun & Bradstreet Paydex number, right? Go ahead and invest in Experian and Telescore. Get that account and start knocking that out. Equifax Business and get some trade references on that business credit, and you can start building. Level 4, financial strength. Now, once you've already had and started getting in some business credit, then you push up into financial strength and start getting revenue. Cash flow starts trickling in, bank deposits. You start getting profitable, things of that nature. Case over time, you'll want to continue to make sure that you have it. Now, I'll say this. Well, I'll say that after level 5. So then once you get that done, level 5 is business credit cards, lines of credit, what they call LLCs, or equity lines of credit, equipment financing, SBA loans, which is one of the things that you may get from the government. Commercial real estate loans, working capital, all those things is what funding is going to give you when you have a business. Now, I will say this, and this is a mistake to this day. I'm like, dang, I should have requested a lot more money. So y'all ever heard the saying, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it? Mm-hmm. Like, if you have excellent credit, y'all, and your credit is off the chain at 800 on personal, and you just say, you know what, you have a business, let me go on ahead and give me a bunch of business loans right now, right? And not like a ton of them or anything like that, but I mean a bunch. I mean, maybe a few, right? You get a few business loans, and you get offered a great deal of money because you have great personal credit. Just grab them up, start collecting them like infinity stones, right? And then when you need it, you can use it, right? And, you can start paying that back, but you can utilize that. You can leverage that amount of credit that you have because now you have it and you don't really need it right now. So maybe your business is doing good. You have great cash flow, but you decide, you know what? Let me get a loan for $300,000. Let me get a loan for $500,000. Let me get a loan for $1 million. And then you get it. You get approved. Well, guess what? That's just sitting in the back waiting for you. So whenever you do need it, you can be like, oh man, y'all, we're in a recession. It's been a bad quarter. Now we're behind 50,000 in payroll. All right, bet. Cool. No fear. Let me go and pull that 50,000 out the credit line we're approved for 8 months ago, and we can go on ahead and utilize it. Right. So that's your rainy day fund. So please understand that. Get the funding when you can versus when you need it, because it'll save you a lot of over the course of your time. LexisNexis, risk solutions and check systems. So banks use this for business identity verification, fraud detection, business ownership, Secretary of State records, legal filings, address verifications, business affiliations, and many funding applications are denied because of inconsistencies in this data, not because you got poor credit. LexisNexis, y'all, is like the mothership of data collecting, right? So all your credit bureaus, they mama is LexisNexis, right? So they report, the bureaus report to the banks. Well, I'm sorry, the banks report to the bureaus. Bureaus report to LexisNexis, right? So that's kind of how the hierarchy goes when it comes to consumer data. Check systems primarily evaluates your banking behavior, and they look at overdraft, your bank account, which you'll get overdraft fees for. Insufficient funds, closed accounts, fraud, return checks, and this affects your bank account approvals as well when you're trying to go through normal banks and consumer banks for consumer type of accounts. Y'all ever been, seeing that you're at a retail store like Target, and some of y'all might, I don't know, some of y'all might be a little bit too young, but remember back in the day, and you used to actually write checks, and you went to the retail store, your Walmart or your Target, and they used to run that check through that machine, and that thing went zoop, and it went through, and it came out the other side, and then it would be like, and then you knew that you was in trouble when it started making noise, and it was declined. Now, I ain't never been declined, but when it was declined, some people experienced that. They started making that little etch and sketch noise. Nah. Then you knew that you were declined. That is what check system is, okay? That's where the data comes from. It makes that little, when you're trying to get on the internet, and then it makes that little noise, and it tried to check that for you, and that's how you came back with insufficient funds. Don't be that cop. Don't be that person, okay? So LexisNexis is the mothership of data. All right, business credit the right way. So your core setup is LLC or corporation. And primarily, I suggest y'all, you don't stay as a sole proprietorship all your life in business. One, it's not good for you. Two, you're not really pushing money back into the community and in the ecosystem as an entrepreneurship. And three, you're not growing anywhere. If you're a sole proprietor all your whole business life, the whole time you've been in business, that's not good for you, right? Especially in the minority businesses, right? 85% of minority-owned businesses, y'all, don't have a single employee. They're sole proprietorships. They don't have no growth and nobody that's helping to grow their company. And that's one of the reasons why there's issues, with, growth in the business community. So you just be careful when you're trying to figure that out and you want to grow, right? Normally the pathway is sole proprietorship, LLC, S Corp, and then C Corp. That's how you should go. All right. You get an EIN, business bank account number, DUNS account number, professional presence, website, email, phone. After that's done, you have a credibility set up. And that means get your business address, professional email and domain, banking relationship starts down. Stage 2, initial credit, secure a business credit card. Secure a business credit card or another vendor account if necessary. And then those will go into your net 30s. That's optional. Like I said, if it was me, I'm not going to build my business credit through net 30s and net 60s. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not a vendor type person. That's just me. I'm not that guy. But you can do it if that's all you got and that's all you want to do, but it's going to take you longer. I promise you. You need to do it by using business credit cards or business lines of credit first through major banks or major credit unions. Not no off the wall mom and pop bank union found some. No, it needs to be a major bank or credit union that you do this with. Stage 3, revolving credit, bank issue business credit cards from Amex, Citi, or Chase. Those are your strongest banks. Also B of A. Stage 4 is scaling your funding from there. Lines of credit from $50,000 to $250,000. And you can leverage your strong payment history on that. What clients must understand when they come to us, business credit is not separate at the start. Personal credit drives your approvals. Don't hide from your personal guarantees. Like that's what you do. You earn your way out of that, right? When you are trying to get a business loan and you have to have a personal guarantee, don't be mad. That's what you got to do. Once you establish time in your businesses, then you can get up off the PG and go on ahead and be on your own. It's just like training wheels. You having a PG is training wheel in business credit. Once you let off that training wheel, you can start to have your own business account, your own line of credit, and your own credit. You don't have to piggyback off of nobody else no more. Funding is profile based, not just score based, and your structure matters more than your score. Remember, credit is a strategy. It's not an event. Credit is timing and sequencing. Timing and sequencing. Make sure you have the best mix of those two to have your best foot forward in your map to success with credit. AU is a tool, not a shortcut. You use AU as a tool to get you where you need to be. And then when you're done, you can roll off because you've already then started to build your own profile and get your own new cards and get your own approved credit situations for when you've been an authorized user. Then you can run off on your own and do you. But it must be paired with primary behavior. Don't be getting an AU and be acting no fool. And then all of a sudden, now you done used all your credit up that you had on yours because you was an AU. No, you can't do that. You got to be fiscally responsible and make sure that the end goal is met at the end of the day. Non-negotiables before helping clients that I have. Prefer having a 680 plus credit score minimum threshold. No recent late payments within the last 12 months. Utilization has to be below 30%. At least 2 to 3 trade lines. The ideal situation before funding, 700 to 750, 4 to 6 trade lines, optimized utilization under 10%, and a clean report. On the business side, we already went over this already. Professional presence, some revenue, EIN and bank account, and having your LLC established. But I do have, if you have a situation and you down bad in the credit side, then I got people that I partner with for actual credit repair. I don't do credit repair. I do credit consulting, credit analysis, business and personal credit consulting. But I got people out there that, that I trust, very few, but that I trust to do credit repair. So, and I don't encourage folks be in that space in general unless they have a solid credit score as well. If you come in contact with somebody doing credit repair for y'all and they got below a 700, 750, don't do it. We're not going to make that happen, okay? All right. Top 4 business credit cards. American Express Business Platinum. That's best for established businesses and frequent travelers. So if you on that plane or that private plane or whatever you do, and your business has been in existence for more than 3 years, go on and hit that Amex Business Platinum, okay? There's plenty of other ones too, like the Blue Business Card, the Blue Business Cash Card, the Blue Business Cash Preferred Card, the Amex Gold Card, the Amex Plum Card, the Amex, what do you call it? The Amex Navy Federal cards, right? The Amex hotel cards. Some of those are ways to get points and be able to have free hotel stays and stuff like that. So you also want to use credit cards, y'all. You can have free trips and get free things and get free money just because you get points and get cash back on your business credit cards and your personal credit cards. So definitely look into loyalty programs when it comes to that. The one good guy to follow when it comes to stuff like that is the points guy. When you go online, and he has a whole slew of tricks and stuff up his sleeve for getting points and rewards. Benefits, premium travel rewards, airport lounge access. I love me a Centurion Amex lounge, y'all. So if you go to the airport, go on and hit that Centurion Amex lounge, but you can only get it if you got an Amex card. So I suggest you try to make sure that you get that done. Flexible spending capacity that you can grow with your business needs. You get a strong purchase and travel protections, statement credits for eligible business services, and excellent customer service. Y'all, Amex customer service is one of the best customer services you're going to ever hit outside of Chick-fil-A. All right. You're going to make sure that you have, they're going to make sure you have everything that you need. They got a concierge through Amex. They can go ahead and if you got a date tonight, they can book your date at, the top restaurants and then places, the restaurants that they don't have no room. You can call Amex concierge and be like, hey, look, I know that I want to take my date to the top, restaurant in the city that's 5-star, got a Michelin star and all that. And it's full for the week. Amex will be like, oh, it's full, huh? All right, bet. Let me make this call right quick. And they'll come back and you get room just because you're an Amex card member. Right. And they have a partnership with Resi when you can do that on the restaurants and stuff like that. So pretty cool benefits. If you're spending about $5,000 a month, and you're a consultant, you have agencies, entrepreneurs who travel frequently. Of course, that card is pretty good for you. The Chase Inc. Business Preferred card, which I have that one too. Best overall business credit card. You get valuable rewards on travel, shipping, advertising, internet cable, phone services, cell phone protections, strong travel insurance benefits, employee cards at no cost, access to the ultimate rewards ecosystem. Best for small businesses, marketing agencies, service-based business, and startups. Like Chase Lounge ain't no joke. Matter of fact, they just built a new Chase Lounge in DFW Airport, if I'm not mistaken. It literally just opened recently. So all these cards, y'all, can get you access to the dopest lounges. Amex Lounge, the Delta Lounge, Chase Lounge, all these, whatever lounge you want to be in, these business credit cards can get you there. All right, next. Capital One Venture X, they even got a Capital One lounge that's also off the chain. You actually go any of these lounges, y'all can go up in there when you have these credit cards. That's why you got to have your business credit up to par so you can get to these lounges. I'm telling you. It's best for high spending business benefits, unlimited miles on every purchase, premium travel benefits, free employee cards, travel credits, all that stuff. Best for growing businesses, e-commerce, real estate investors, and business travelers. You can get a pretty decent size credit limit on Capital One Venture X too. It's a heavy card. It's heavy just like the Amex cards are. Bank of America Business Advantage customized cash rewards. I don't really have Bank of America accounts, but they do have some pretty decent cards too. They get cash back in different categories, no annual fee, introductory APR offers, flexible redemption options. All those different things are pretty dope benefits for all of these different cards too. Other business cards, honorable mentions are going to be like the Amex Blue Business Plus, Chase Inc. Business Cash, Capital One Spark Cash Plus, U.S. Bank Business Altitude, and Wells Fargo Signify Business Cash. I got that one too. So you have to look at and analyze your own business to figure out what works for you, right? So if you decide that one card doesn't work because your business flows like X, cool. Go to another one that does flow like what you need. If you're strong, you might want to go Amex or you might want to go Capital One Venture X. If you're mediocre, you might want to go with some of the middle Amex cards. Go with a Wells Fargo, or may go with a mid-sized Chase, right? If you just starting out, you may want to go with the Navy Federal, or you may want to go with a basic business credit Wells Fargo credit card for business, or you may want to start off with some B of A's. Like, you just have to see where your business is and tailor what you need to your business, and that's where credit consulting comes into play. Where we can analyze what you got going on in your personal or business situation, and be able to recommend to you what you need. On this next portion right here, obviously you see that the AU program on the personal side, if you need to increase your credit scores, y'all, and you're trying to get to that 800 this year in 2026, then we got you, right? Connect with me to do an analysis on your credit report once I kind of look at that and see what's going on with it. And be very transparent, y'all. Go all out and be like, this is what's wrong. This is what's going on. Like, I'm not gonna know. This is no judge zone. Like, nobody cares kind of what happened to you in that particular lens. What I really need to know is give me all the information and data and how messed up or how great you are in your report. And I can look at that and see what will make more sense for your credit profile to build you where you need to be, right? And then from there, on the business side, you'll be able to move how you need to move based on how your personal side looks. But on the business side, I can also recommend to you what cards that would make sense, what lines of credit would make sense, and some other different vendor accounts that you might be able to utilize to build your business credit as well.
Well, Jay, I can't thank you enough. I know we're going to go into the question and answer section, but even before we go into that, I really want to thank you for dropping the gems of knowledge that you just shared. And so, but let's go into the questions.
Yeah, so I see my man has, please explain how and if a company size could impact your potential credit loan. So yes, Company sizes, and this was in the early part of the presentation, but company sizes do impact your potential credit loan because of scalability. If your business is only like two people, it's you and a co-founder, then obviously you're not going to request, an $85 million loan, right? Because it's just y'all two, unless you're a very successful startup and you're going into unicorn stage, you got series A, B, and C funding, and you're like Facebook, right? And you become $1 billion company in the startup phase in Silicon Valley. Right. But if you're a small business and you're not a Facebook or not an Instagram or you're not a Claude or you're not a Open AI or whatever, then you need to look at how many people are on your team, what your cash flow looks like, what your P&L looks like, and what you utilize your business for. And that will determine as well what kind of potential credit card, potential line of credit, or potential line of credit you get, or loan you get, excuse me, based on your credit, based on your company size. If you're a mid-sized company or a small, medium-sized business, or what they call an SMB, then you might be going up to, 5 to 10 million in revenue, right? If you're a large-sized business or you're greater than 50 million, then you can request loans that may be comparable to the revenue that you make, right? Or the profitability that you have will be aligned to what you're able to get for your loan, if that makes sense.
Thanks.
Anything else we got?
Not sure if we have any additional questions. More so a comment.
Hey, he is, you know what I mean? Don't be like Hook and them. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay.
But yeah, Jay, as I was saying, I really do want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. As I mentioned in the first financial literacy masterclass, when I saw your TED talk, I definitely wanted to be able to bring you on to, the masterclass, because the information that you share is just not information that everyone is privy to. Also, as Jay mentioned, he is going to he's open sometime in his very, very busy calendar to like provide mentorship as well as consulting. Please feel free to take a look at the masterclass to get his information. There's also information on the HITS Calendly site as well. But again, Jay, I thank you so very, very much. I will probably bring you back. I know you mentioned some additional company efforts that you have in the education AI space. And so, as that gets launched up somewhere, I would love to bring you back on to maybe dive into AI in the education space, or if we have any additional questions related to leveraging credit. But again, thank you very, very much for your time.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it. Appreciate that. Those of you that are in the education space, of course, Claude just launched 2 weeks ago. Claude for education, so definitely get it. If you're an educator, it's free, and you get access to a whole portfolio of different things that Claude has to offer in AI. So, I'll be more than happy to do that. And those of y'all that are just coming out, we're about to be at the second half of 2026. Y'all need to get y'all credit right. You need to get your personal credit right, and you need to get your business credit right. So I know if I don't know the answer, I know other people that also know the answer, and I can help you get where you need to be on either the personal or business side. So just definitely reach out, follow us on social media, so we can help you.
Thanks again, Jay, and thanks to everyone that attended this evening. We'll see you for the next masterclass.